Good morning, guys, and welcome one more day to this, our educational channel. My name is Elena Andreo Carrillo, although some of you already know me. The first thing we will discuss in this video will be the relationship that I've made between educational law and organizational relationships that we have seen in previous videos. Up here, I leave you the video so you can go directly to it. The first aspect to be discussed is the involvement of all of those who surround the educational process of a student, in order to have quality and equitable education. This is related to context of a complex organization, since the student alone is not capable of achieving the greatest success. In addition, another point to address is the relationship with institutions, which we can relate to connections beyond the classroom, since this new law wants to maintain the objectives with the European Union and UNESCO in order to make the most of available resources. In addition, in relation to this connection, this law also aims to provide education to all citizens, and not only within the classroom, as well as the evolution of digital competence as an impact on the educational system. On the other hand, the law includes education as a right of every child, as established in the United Nations Right of the Child, and also the importance of addressing sustainable development. These two can be related to emerging knowledge through connections, since according to Starkey, it is the connections between groups at different levels that modify and incorporate ideas and innovations. We also find elements that affect connections with peers. First of all, the law wants to give importance to gender equality and respect for diversity, since with education they will learn to treat and respect each other, both genders, and will not have any demotivation for not wanting to go to class. On the other hand, we find the inclusion of students, which although it can be related to several connections, the chosen one is the teacher-student connection, since these students must be guaranteed personalized attention by the teachers. In addition, we find the universality of knowledge and competencies that relates to connections within learning, because they must learn ideas that will serve them throughout their lives. In addition, with this, we can also find the open learning approach, so that they can give values of learning to live in society and learn by themselves. And well, many of you have asked me for an idea of what I'd be like as a principal, so here we go! In my school, we would teach from an early age that we are all equal regardless of our color, because we are people and our inner selves are the same. After all, a classroom is a mirror image of a society. They must learn to think for themselves and know how to find values and attitudes that will serve them throughout their lives. Women and men are equal, and that is something that will be instilled in them from a very young age. There is no difference in colors, no difference in jobs, and no difference in toys. Sexism is something I will eradicate in my school. Co-education is the best way to prevent it. The teachers of my students will answer attention to children with disabilities. They will include them in class because after all they are one more, and of course they will make sure that their classmates treat them as one of their peers. They should learn not to judge by economic level of people, as well as not to underestimate the different professions. They will learn that all economic levels are equally valid and respectful. And finally, speaking of the leadership style I would use, it would be transformational style, because I want all my students to achieve their best and to reach their successes one by one. But for that, they need to have someone to guide them. And finally, I will now turn to the questions you left for me to answer in the previous video. I consider that I deserve around a 6 or 7 because even though I have given my best week after week, I have struggled to keep up with the pace. I had a hard time acquiring the knowledge the first time, but I think I managed to get it all out very well. Above all, I have learned how difficult it is to organize a classroom. The concept of grouping was totally unknown to me, and at the first glance it seems simple, but behind the concept there are many values, ideologies, and ways of seeing life. Especially on the topic of coexistence, since I couldn't imagine the problems that could lead to the bad resolution of this. Thanks to what we have read in theory and practice, we've seen real examples of coexistence mismanagement, and it is really sad. Preparing the video, I've learned to relate concepts, as well as put into practice some of the knowledge learned during this course. I've learned to strain my mind to be as original as possible, and to be able to give the best version of myself with this subject. And that's the end of today's session. I hope you like it, and above all, that you have learned. I will be happy to see your opinions in the comments. See you in the next video. Bye!